on what should we meditate. Before you can think about the process, it's important to understand the goal, right? I mean, if you walk into a gym and you say, well, which of these machines should I use? They're going to say, well, it depends. I mean, are you looking for stronger biceps, or are you looking for a flatter tummy, or are you looking just to lose some weight, or are you looking for all-around toning? And then you're going to tell them what you want, and then they're going to say, these are the right machines for you. So in meditation, what we realize is it's actually an unfolding of that which is not self into that which is self. It's a noun, not a verb. Meditation. I know, of course, we have permutations that we turn into verbs, but in Sanskrit, the word dhyan, it's a noun. It's who we are. And that's very important because there's much less doing and much more being. Otherwise, those of us who are such perfectionists and we're so used to achieving, and it's like through our academic lives, through our career lives, it's just do this and do it the right way, and then we'll get there. And so meditation becomes just another way of that. If I meditate with the right technique, on the right form, I can also achieve this. You know, another thing, tick, meditation, done. But it's being, not doing. And if you had to bring a verb into it, it would be an undoing rather than a doing. So it's a removal, much like we peel an onion. Removing the layers. And so when we say, what do we meditate on? Well, anything. If it can take you into that place. See, our thoughts, the monkey mind, is the greatest obstacle. Let me do one of my favorite little experiments with you all. Okay, so I'm going to kind of divide us right here in between our two little cuties and going back. So we've got two halves. This half, when I say go, you're going to chant Om. This half, when I say go, you are going to make all of the ruckus that you possibly can. Okay? As loud, as nonsensical, as what you would think inappropriate for sitting in a spiritual setting. As you can. I seriously mean, make ruckus, okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Fabulous. Now we're going to do it again, but in the middle of it, I'm going to give one of the two sides a hands up. And if I give your side a hands up, it means you become quiet. Okay? Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. The Om side. Were you Oming the whole time? Well, that's really funny because I couldn't hear you in the beginning. You sure you were Oming? Really? Did anybody else hear them? who's required to hear the Om? The ruckus stops. This is what meditation is. It's not about a creation of Om. That's there. It's about a stilling of the ruckus enough that you can hear what's there. So, your breath, a mantra. Your breath and a mantra. For those of us who have very overactive minds that need not one but two things to keep them busy. A candle flame with open eyes. For some people, the mind moves too much if the eyes are closed in the beginning. So you start with an open eye. A word. An image. Anything that when you connect to it or repeat it or focus on it, the ruckus stops. And it's not going to be the same for everybody, which is why it's so hard to cookie cutter a meditation program. Just start. And the only last important piece about this is, whatever technique you use, whatever you're meditating on, is a vehicle to get you someplace. You don't want to lose the purpose with the means. There's a great story of these three men who are stranded on an island in the ocean, and they pray and pray and pray to God for something to save them. And one day they wake up and there's a canoe on their island, and they're thrilled. Oh my God, we've been saved. And they jump in the canoe and they paddle back to the mainland. And a few weeks later, somebody sees them, and they're walking through the village with this canoe on their heads. They're walking in a line holding the canoe on their head. And the person asks, well, why do you have that canoe on your head? And they said, oh, this canoe, it saved our lives. You know, we were stranded on this island, and it saved us. And the person says, well, that's really great, but why are you carrying the canoe on your head? Oh, this canoe, you know, it saved our lives. We were stranded on the island. They were so indebted to the canoe that even once they got where they had wanted to go, now they've rendered themselves handicapped because you can't do much walking around with a canoe on your head. And what you'll find as you meditate, let's say you start with a mantra and the breath. So the awareness is on the breath and there's a chanting of a mantra going on. There will come a time where suddenly it seems that the breath stops. Don't worry, it doesn't. You're not, but it actually does seem like that. And the mantra stops. And that's the time when we actually experience meditation. But what happens for so many of us, again, who are focused on technique and achieving, is it's, oh my God, I've lost the mantra, I've lost the breath. And we bring ourselves back. So if that state happens, let it be. And eventually, if you're still human, you'll start having a thought again, and then that's when you bring back the mantra and the breath. But in that very, very beautiful moment where the mantra is sort of chanting itself, you're not chanting it, there's no breath anymore to be watching. Don't freak out that you've suddenly stopped paying attention to the breath and suddenly stopped chanting the mantra. Recognize that it's carried you across. And just be in that place for as long as it lasts, and then when it ends, you'll bring the mantra and the breath back.